Alrighty, everyone, here we go. This is your first video of the year. Our formation here starting off. I've been trying to rest up. I hope you've been trying to rest up over the summer and relax. We've got a full year ahead of us, and it all kicks off with our first weekend coming up next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, September 30th, October 1st, October 2nd. And it's going to be a full weekend, even more so than we often find in the past, because we're moving into new digs. We're going to be on the University of Regina campus. All of you from last year are aware of that, and I know we've talked about it for our first year candidates that they all know. They're all up to speed on where we're going. So it's going to take a bit of time for us to get used to. And my main purpose here today is to give you the information that you need just to prepare for this move and for this first weekend together. So, as you know, we're going to be on Campion Campus, on the University of Regina campus, from this point forward. But for this fall, Campion is still in the process of undergoing major renovations of their facilities, and so they've made arrangements with UofR College, which is literally right down the hall from Campion. So they're side by side. When you look at the map that's attached to your email, you'll see there's Campion in red, and right beside them is the UofR College. Our classes are going to take place in UofR College. All of our meals are going to be had in the UofR cafeteria. And even going forward, once we move back into Campion campus, our meals will still be looked after by UofR cafeteria. So it'll be good to know where that place is right off the start, right? So our classrooms and chapel use will all be in UofR for October, November, and December, and hopefully in January we'll be moving into the newly renovated Campion campus at that point. So the things you need to know about getting around. You're going to have a map attached to this email. Here's a copy of the map here. This is the map that's available right on the University of Regina website. I've got it downloaded and I'll be attaching it to you. You'll have hard copies of this in all the materials you pick up on the first weekend. But I wanted to make sure that you had a copy of this right now. And you'll see right in red, right there is Campion. That's where we're going to be. And right beside Campion, right here in the gray, that's UofR. That's the major points that you want to take note of. And right in here is parking lot 10, which is a wonderful little lot. You can see how close it is to UofR and to Campion campus right there. And that's the lot where we're going to be doing most of our parking when we're on campus there for our weekends. Okay, so that parking lot is to the south of UofR College, and it's to the east of what's called the kinesiology building. I mention that because as you're driving along the road where you come in, see if we can show you this here. You're going to come in off of Wascana Parkway here, and you're going to go up and just start following the road all the way around. All the way around. Oh, where are we going here? No, we're going to follow this way. Going to follow the road all the way around here. Going to turn this little corner here and right up there to lot 10. And you'll see signage talking about the kinesiology building and stuff as you go along. So it's to the south of UofR. It's to the east of the kinesiology building. That's parking lot 10, right? It's the most convenient parking for us for a couple of reasons. One, it's very close to both campuses. Two, you're going to notice on your map, there's a bank of parking stalls on the lot marked in purple. When you get to that parking lot, those stalls you'll notice have no parking meters on them. They've got two signs labeled on them. The one sign tells you that it's a parking pass stall, right? So it's a stall that during the day requires a parking pass. The other sign indicates that after 3:30 p.m., it is what's called community parking. For those people from the larger Regina community involved in programs like night school, night classes, and sporting events going on in the kinesiology building. Those parking stalls are free after 3:30 p.m. So when you arrive, in the late afternoon, early evening of Friday, just before our classes start, in general, all of those stalls, if they're open, are free parking. That's important for us to remember. If there happens to be a large event going on that day, maybe in the kinesiology building, maybe there's a sporting event going on, those stalls may from time to time become filled up, but they don't fill up that often through the year, especially for the weekends. Okay? But if they are filled up, there are other stalls in that same lot that have parking meters. Now, those parking meters last for 10 hours. They're 10-hour meters. And so you will want to be prepared to bring at least four toonies with you, $8 in toonies, to plug the meter on the Friday only for 4 hours. So you make sure that you're not going to get a ticket from parking enforcement. We've talked with Campion Campus, and parking enforcement is an entity completely unto itself, and they don't make deals and issue free passes to any groups and stuff on there. And in all honesty, to get a parking pass for the university campus just to use on a single Friday night once a month, it's beyond $8 that would cost you, that might cost you. So if you get yourself over the next couple of weeks 4 toonies, put them in a little container and keep them in your glove compartment just in case you need to plug the meter on Friday night. Saturdays and Sundays, parking is free throughout the campus. Parking is not monitored Saturdays and Sundays, and so we don't have to worry about parking for those days. Okay? So parking is all taken care of. Now, for those people in residence, and right now, off the top of my head, I think we've got 6 people out of our program who will be in residence. Dorms are available for those out-of-town residents only. All of us who are living in town will be spending the night in our own homes, in our own beds. The dorms are available in the Kissick building, which is brand new dorms directly to the north of Campion College. So again, if you see Campion College right there, directly to the north, there's these wonderful brand new 2 towers. That's the Kissick building, and those are the new dorms that you'll be staying in, okay, for you out of town. You need to inform me of your need for a room when you register for the program. I know those of you who are already registered and are out of town, and I'm blocking some rooms for you already. All bedding and towels are supplied. You might want to bring a favorite blanket or a pillow if you wish, or as well as an alarm clock of some kind. This is really important because unless you are booked in as a resident in the dorms, you don't get into the building. So if you're late for class, we can't come looking for you and knocking on your door. We'd have to find someone else who's in residence to go in there, which brings us to the security. The Kissick building is secured both electronically and with an on-site security guard, and requires an e-pass that will be issued to you when you arrive and check in. That e-pass will also grant you access to your individual room. Once you have that e-pass, everything's going to take care of itself. And honestly, 18 and 20-year-olds who have never been away from home apparently do this all the time. When I was out there for my diaconate weekend, they were all doing that. There was move-in week and move-in weekend for them at that point. So I know that you can figure this out, and know that it will run smoothly once we get through this first weekend and we kind of all see how it works out. So for those of you from out of town who will be in residence next Friday and Saturday, plan to meet myself and Campion Chaplain Stephanie Malloy, who's also one of the presenters of our program, at the UofR Campus doors north of Lot 10 by 5:30 p.m. or so that we can get things organized with you in plenty of time. All right? If you are going to be a little bit late, let me know. Let me know in plenty of time so that we know to have someone there to meet you, okay, when you come. This is just for the first time. Honestly, it is very, very easy for us to get around the area of the campus that we need to worry about. This is just to try to alleviate some of those concerns for you if you're a little bit concerned. Honestly, the biggest concerns that I've heard from people is parking. Where are we going to park? And so I think we've covered that already. For the rest of you, on Friday, September 30th, plan to arrive no later at all than 6:30 p.m. We're going to have members of our formation team, Brenda and Cindy and Grant, are going to be there to meet you at the UofR Campus doors north of Lot 10 on that Friday, September 30th. And they'll show you where our classrooms are and where the washrooms are, where the chapel is. And then someone will also escort those people who are spending the night to your rooms, as we mentioned just a few seconds ago. All of our classrooms, this is really convenient, all of our classrooms on UofR Campus are clustered together on the second floor along with the chapel. It is really easy to find your way around once you get in and get your bearings. There's also an elevator on the main floor of the college for anybody with mobility issues to get up to the second floor where our classrooms are, okay? And there are elevators in the dorm room as well for people if there's mobility issues and that there. With regards to refreshments, while we're operating out of UofR Campus, we're not going to bring outside food to snack on for right now. So for the fall, we're kind of keeping things the way they were all last year at St. Michael's. We're not going to bring our own snacks for outside. You're welcome to bring your own non-alcoholic beverages for your own personal use. Being a college campus, this was kind of a neat thing. There is a host of coffee machines like everywhere, around every corner almost. Coffee machines, pop machines, snack machines available 24 hours a day. There's a Timmy's on campus at the Kissick building where all of the dorm residents are. It's accessible from the outside. There's so if you need your Timmy's in the morning, you can stop and get it there on your way to class when we get there. Many of the vending machines accept debit cards, but you might want to make sure that you've got some change on you for a coffee or a beverage or a snack from time to time over this fall month. Once we get over into Campion College, they've got a little bit more leeway with us for that. UofR might also, but we want to be good. They're already opening up their classrooms and stuff to us, so we just kind of want to make as little impact as we need to on UofR College during this time while we're waiting for Campion to finish their renovations. Okay, looking down my list, I think we've got that. Our first session on Friday night begins promptly at 7 p.m. And our weekends throughout the year are going to operate on the following schedule. Now, I'm giving you this in writing and stuff as well. But essentially, our evening on Friday will be from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m. So we're going to do our gathering, our welcome, our group work. From 9 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., we're going to have intentional social time. Okay? At St. Michael's, when we were out there, our classes could end and we could kind of mill about in the common area. Lots of great common areas and lounge areas around the campus for us to kind of sit and visit and stuff in as well this year. But we want to make sure, because that social formation is an essential part of the formation program, we want to make sure that we are not just finishing class and everyone's disappearing at the end of the evening. So we're going to have a scheduled intentional time for socializing after class, just debriefing a little bit from 9 p.m. till 9:30. And then at 9:30 p.m. we're going to end the evening along with the diaconate program with night prayer in the chapel. We're all going to gather for that. We'll share night prayer, which takes about 5 or 6 minutes. And then that's it for the night. Those people who want to continue to visit around are more than welcome to. And those people who, like me, quite often at the 9:30 at night, once prayer is done, I'm done for the day a lot of times. So you're free to do that as well. All right. On Saturday, everything begins promptly at 8 a.m. in the UofR cafeteria with breakfast until 8:30. At 8:30, just as those of you who've been in the program before are familiar with, there'll be creative prayer, which will probably take place in one of the classrooms that we have for now, again, until we shift over to Campion Campus and have more access to facilities. So that will be that creative prayer time. From 9 a.m. till noon, you've got class. From noon until 1:30, you've got lunch. 1:30, you've got class again until about 4. Mass on Saturday is at 4:30 p.m. and supper starts approximately 5:15. As soon as mass is done, supper's ready to be served for us. From 7 till 9, you have your third session, just as those of you in the past are used to. And then again on Saturday night from 9 till 9:30, social time. And we've got night prayer with the diaconate at wrapping things up at 9:30 in the evening. Sunday goes exactly the same, starting at 8 a.m. and going until 2 p.m. in the afternoon when we finish up, just as we did last year. We'll probably gather in the chapel to wrap things up at 1:30 p.m. so that we can have a little bit of a debrief with yourselves and myself, chance to kind of go over what's happened in the weekend and have some questions answered if things have come up over the course of your sessions together. I talked about we're being very intentional about scheduling that social time. I want to emphasize that again. That's one of the concerns that people have had expressed to me over the summer months, is that us not being primarily in residence anymore really cuts in with our that socializing aspect of the formation program, which, as I said, is an essential part of the formation program. With us gathering for that half an hour each day, plus meeting together with all of our meetings, we're really missing no social time in our program that we didn't have at St. Michael's. The only time that we're missing together is the time when we would have been asleep already. So that's that with that. So if people say, oh geez, well, you're not in residence, you're missing a lot of that socializing aspect, we're really not at all. We're being very intentional about that. All right, so that gives you a rundown of kind of the nuts and bolts of how things are going to work in our new home this coming fall. The last thing that I want to leave you with is a little bit of a heads up for your classes coming up this coming weekend, the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd. And so we'll run through that. And oh, just wait a minute. I did want to introduce you to our new candidates this year. And so these are their names. You'll get to meet them all on the Friday night. But these are their names. We've got Michelle Lissowick. She's from Moose Jaw. We've got Alda Bouvier. We've got Debbie Bulick. We've got Shelley Kritzter. We've got Jessica Hernando, Heather Dice, Bob Willadall, and Lorraine Anderson. And from time to time, we're even going to have Bob's wife, who's going to be auditing the class. We'll talk about that a little bit on the weekend. Denise may be with us from time to time throughout with some arrangements that we've made with her. Okay, so that's our roundup. We've got 8 people in total. Just this morning, I had one other call from a gentleman out in Wolseley, and we'll see how that plays out with him. But very excited for you to get to meet this new batch of participants in our program. I've had the opportunity to meet them all. They're a great group of men and women, and I think they're going to be a great asset to our archdiocese through this. All right, so we're going back to classes. And what are your classes coming up here? Saturday morning for the year ones, you first year candidates, you'll be having a workshop moving through Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon on communication skills and strategies and listening strategies with Father Gary Kuntz. A wonderful workshop that kicks off your time here in the lay formation program, giving you valuable tools for communicating and listening that will serve you well in parish ministry and family life and the workplace throughout your life, really. I think you're going to love that time that you spend with Father Gary. Our year 2 people, and Saturday morning, you will be spending the morning with Bonnie Teely Hunt as she takes you through the second part of the church, understanding what the church is, and how it works within us, and looking maybe even a little bit at the history of our church and stuff as well. For year 3s, you've got a session with Father J.R. Prince on the Paschal Mystery, that central mystery of our faith. Wonderful presentation that he put together for us last year, and he's very excited to come out and spend this time again with you this year as well. In the afternoon, year 2s and 3s will have a workshop with Pierre O'Reilly on putting together and delivering personal testimonies. Putting together and delivering personal testimonies. You year 3 candidates, I know you had a class with Kayleen McQuaid last year on this. This year, Kayleen wasn't able to come out and do it, and Pierre is someone that you haven't heard talk about this, and he's got a really interesting take on it that I think you'll find quite a valuable addition to the material that you learned about last year. In the evening, year 1s, you get an introduction to the Bible, while year 2s and 3s are together again, learning about spiritual direction and spiritual directors with Marlene Miller and her crew together. So that takes us up to Saturday evening. And then Sunday morning, I've got a really exciting morning for you year 1s and 2s. Dr. Brett Sockold is taking a break from the diaconate formation, and he will be with you year 1s and 2s on Sunday morning, giving you a bit of an introduction to theology. Just looking at what theology is, who does theology, why do we do it, and talking about maybe even some of the misconceptions we have when it comes to even hearing this word theology. And for our year 3s, you've got Bert Pitzel coming out to do the final component in his social justice work that he's been journeying with you on throughout these past 3 years. So that's our weekend in a nutshell. I have to say I'm getting very excited for it coming up. I know I've had a few people asking, are we going to get some information coming out soon? Are we going to get it coming out soon? I wanted to make sure that we had everything that we needed kind of compiled and put together for you before I disseminated it. And so I hope that I've done that well and clearly for you. And I'm really looking forward to getting together with you again. I've really missed you guys through the summer months. It was nice to have that little bit of break and rest and relaxation, but it's going to be so good to get back together with you again. As always, I ask for your own prayers for me as I journey through my diaconate formation, and for myself and our formation team as we journey with you throughout your formation. So if you could spend some time in prayer for us this week, that would be so much appreciated. And know that we always keep you in our prayers. Amen. Amen.